It might be happening. We may actually get to stream today. Instead of dealing with technical difficulties for the 18th day in a row, we might actually get to stream Magic the Gathering today. What's up, Talamar? What is up, Beatsbox? I am very happy to be back live again after another, I guess, period of like unscheduled break because we keep having technical difficulties. Commit, it is non-arena decks. These are commander decks submitted by my Patreon subscribers. I'm just playing arena for 10 minutes to make sure that the people getting roasted have time to get into the stream before I start. What's up, Thomas? See, dude, I didn't really have a main in World of Warcraft. I did a lot of stuff, and I never got deep enough into the game to be like, this is the thing that I do. Most recently, I was doing a lot of tank gameplay. Hey, Nelvana, what's happening? Kala, Adam and Eve is treating me very well. Anybody who hasn't seen it yet, I just released a YouTube short that is an ad for Adam and Eve and a little skit about sideboarding. Oh, 1 second. Had to update the stream title. Troper, thank you very much for the tier 1 Twitch sub for 4 months in a row, my friend. Welcome back. Alright, sorry about that. Let me catch back up with the chat. Exemplar, you should expect to get an email tonight. I had a vasectomy on Monday, and so I've been recovering from surgery, and so I have not really been doing anything other than this Adam and Eve skit because I felt good enough. At like 2 a.m. I woke up and I was like, my balls don't hurt. I'm going to film something. And so I'll be sitting down to assign the rest of the roast streams for this month right after this. Joe Salsa, I've not looked into Warhammer yet. Helios124124, thank you very much for a Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. Magic MLZ, so if you submit it, you'll get put on the list for this month. You don't get put onto this stream, though. The individual streams are set out ahead of time. But if you sign up for Patreon during the month, you get put onto a roast stream for that month. I'm Rando. No, I'm actually I'm trying to think of like the bits that I want to do for Modern Horizons 3. I'm definitely going to do a balance room skit about it. I've already covered Kudo, King Among Bears, who is a MH3 skit, or not MH3 skit, who is a Modern Horizons 3 commander. Well, that hand is not playable. Didn't we just get the... Sure, fuck it. Sure, fuck it. I've not seen Onra yet, Laura. Exemplar Invictus, thank you very much for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home. And Missing Jake, thank you as well. Thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks very much, my friend. So I'm just going to play a game or two, and then we're going to get into the roasting with T-Dim's deck first, then Cpars, then Link Gamer 15, then Lockman 98, then 420 Templar, then D2 Vincent, then Broke Teacher, then Cyborg. This absolute fool didn't realize I put bad cards in this deck on purpose for when I'm forced to discard things. I don't even feel bad about that. This, useless. Yeah, hey, what if fuck your guy? What if I had first strike and I said eat me? Get your hat mad. Thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I mean, they have to have a spell to say about this, but it doesn't really matter because we need to make them use it regardless. I mean, sure, if that's really what you want. If really what you want is for this thing to die and is for you to use a card for no gain, because they could have just not swung it and not had to use their card. Oh, I guess they wanted the treasure. Maybe they were trying to trick me into ramping them. Mecha Zelder, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I think we do Avon here. Just because heisting. So heisting, you guys. Heist is bullshit. Heist is absolute bullshit. Jam, that is a hilarious pun. I am still certifiably bawling. But I had a vasectomy Monday. So I will no longer be risking pregnancy as I bawl. Do you not know what first strike is, bestie? I feel like they can't. Like, I feel a little bad because I feel like they must not be aware what first strike is. When they just keep throwing tiny bones. Oh, it's their commander. I think silver's the least good. So they can make me mill. I really don't care if I mill. I want to heist them more than I care about not milling. For sure. For sure. Oh my god. Oh, these are nice cards. Gimme Gix. Gimme color fixed Gix, please and thank you. This is such a fool mechanic. Hell yeah, brother. Welcome to the Blanks Club. I love that. We can dump the land this time. Yeah, buddy? Do you have a response to that? Oh, maybe they have cut down, and they're worried about this being the last time they could cut down. Lex the Gnome, thank you very much for the tier 1 Twitch sub for 4 months in a row, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. I'm the best around. Heist is just turbo bullshit. Like, it is honestly not fair. So I think maybe a better way to say how I feel about Heist is that I'm not convinced that it's good enough to take over comp. I'm convinced that it's good enough to absolutely shit on everything that isn't, like, comp level. I need to get a swamp because I need to be able to get Asgol out. Bonnie Paul? Okay. We can probably deal with Bonnie Paul. Yeah, they heisted my balls. Knightsea will probably... I don't know if we'll get, like... I am legitimately considering... doing, like, a whole video about the heist mechanic. Jesus Christ, this hand. I'm actually fine with River's Rebuke. Truly, I think Coma is the... I think Coma's the biggest problem there. D2 Vincent, thank you for the Prime sub for 2 months in a row, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. Mauled replaced his swimmers with microplastics. Exactly. Exactly. Now I'm just busting out complete Tonka sets. Owl Knight, it is still deck roasting. I'm just giving it a minute so that the people getting roasted can get to the stream. So I'm just playing like 2 games, and then we're going to play quote-unquote normal arena. Or we're going to do normal deck roasting. I think we probably just do thieving Aven after. I'm not gonna lie, this is bad for us. They're really close to Rebuke. They're really close to Bonnie Paul. They have 1 card we don't know about. Okay, Hero's Downfall. So if they go for Bonnie Paul, we definitely Hero's Downfall. For now, we just thieving Aven, and then we hope that we get all their good cards. What am I doing? Yeah, we'll work on the battle. We're going to need creatures for this. Seed of the East, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Welcome back to the dog home. Okay, tap land. They're about to be on Rebuke mana. So I'm inclined to just hold my mana open. That's funny. That's too funny. Sure. Sure. Rebuke me. Rebuke my river, bro. This is why you shouldn't play dickhead decks, because I will just take your dickhead cards with a 1/4 bird. Oh, that's fine too. I think Heroes Downfalling is still the play here. And then I do want to fix my colors. So we're going to Heroes Downfall. We'll still hold up mana for Swan Song in case they rebuke me just on the next turn. I am not giving them Coma back no matter what, so we're just going to kind of race. We're going to race the 6/6. It'll be fine. Ooh, child. So this is more of a what do I want them to not have? Probably Nissa, because landfall is fucking dog shit. Now they can do cheap Galta, which will be more problematic for me. Because they have Bow. Let's see, I can probably take 7. Worst case scenario... No, Troper, they do not know what I stole. All they know is that I got to look at 3 good cards from inside their deck, and I took one of them. And they have no idea what I took. It's very, like, as a mechanic, it could be fair. It is currently very overtuned. There's no way they they gave up the one that could have swung. Alright. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna take Shambling Gas. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, you literally just get to draft the other person's deck. And it's... Laura Harris, please do. Anybody who is in this stream, I would like to officially welcome you to the Gooning Reclamation Committee, which, as Laura Harris on YouTube has said, the definition of gooning is to act in a manner similar or pursuant to the goals of Henzi Toolbox Tory. This is from Streets of New Capetta. It is a fabulous commander. So welcome to the fucking war, everybody. D2 Vincent, you want to go last? Yes, we can do that. I'll move you, and then we're going to get going with the rest for tonight because it is 5:30 now. So T-Dim is going to be up, then Cpars, and then we're going to keep these chains moving. But yeah, D2 Vincent, you'll go last. So for anybody that doesn't know how these deck roasts work, you submit a deck, you submit a primer that is aspirational. So you tell me what you believe the deck to be, and that's part of what I'm going to be judging you against. You tell me if you want upgrades, and then you tell me what the deck is. You summarize your deck in one word. So for T-Dim, you also rate it on the spectrum of silly to spooky to scary. Now, silly means none of your turns are really that threatening. Eventually, you are going to kill everybody at the table with some type of large cartoon mallet. But if they elect to let you put a large cartoon mallet on the ground, point at it, say, I'm going to kill you all with that, and then go pick it up, it's on them. That's a silly deck. They had it coming. A spooky deck is your moves are ominous, and people that are really paying attention can probably see your fuckery coming, but it is not like outright, I play this card, I win the game. It's a little bit of setup. Scary is, I play this card, I'm going to win the game now. You know, a 5-year-old could figure out why this is a scary card. So, T-Dim's deck is silly. The primer says, riffle through the deck, raising a massive crew of unstoppable 1/1 flyers and crappy dorks and collecting the card types I care about. Once these are in place, board wipe, leaving everything in the dust but myself with about a dozen zombies, then put a pump spell or two down. Ideally equip one of the zombies with the Dragon Throne of Tarkir and drop a body, maybe two, maybe even all three in a fairy tale scenario. It's not good, but I like it a lot, and that's what matters. Also, please do not ask about the land count. What the fuck? Get Steam out of here. Why? I don't need friendships interrupting 29 goddamn lands. This deck's mana curve better just be a flat piece of paper. Maybe with like a pebble under one end. That's what makes this deck silly. It's probably scary, except they can never fucking cast anything. Okay. This deck is named that because the commander shares my actual real-life first name. That is the only reason I picked him and made this deck. Well, good on you for doxing yourself on stream. Tobias, that is a good name. Alright, when Tobias dies, for each non-token creature you control that died this turn, make a zombie. That's... I don't mind that. That is, I think, a non-ridiculous way to go about... I care about board wiping, is I have a built-in way to make sure the board wipe moves the game forward for me. Stop looking at it. I mean, there's a lot of fixing for your colors, which is good. Which is good when you only have fucking 29 lands, and it does look like, wow, you have the worst creatures imaginable. Campus guide. All right, where'd we get? All right, T-Dim. Where the fuck did we find these creatures for? Transform ambitious farmhand. There's no way in the year of our Lord 2024. I mean, Cathar Commander, sure. Sure. It's removal. Chrome Courier. A 3-mana 1/1 flyer. There better be like a tiny meat gang synergy. When this enters, sack it unless you return another creature you control that... I see that our creatures for this deck were looted from an LGS trash can. Like, it's simply... What the fuck is... What is Flumph doing in here? Okay, Gideon's Lawkeeper. You can be a little annoying. That's sure. Now we've got oil counters. Alright. Death synergy and full graveyard synergy. That's good. Ingarunai's good. Legitimately strong. Has a death synergy. Has a lots of things died synergy. I don't know what the fuck this is about. Sure, death synergy. Sure, Ramp and Azorius. I think Convoke does make sense. I'll give you that too. This is no. You have not a reason. Remove the 5 worst creatures for lands. It's not possible. It is a 31-way tie. It is a 31-way tie. Alright, Azorius Ramp. I mean, sure. Death synergy. Death synergy, okay. I mean, Militia Bugler works with what is happening. If this is the card that is meant to tie all of this together, I will have an aneurysm. No, you cannot convince me. This is not Boros Convoke. You cannot sell me on that. I will look at, there are 13 artifacts. Maybe there is a ladder that makes this make sense. Okay, recruitment officer, fine for little shitters. Sinister Concierge is interesting. It does, there is like a, okay, now I can play a good creature and protect it. Nope. No. Sure, why not? She bad. No. All right, let's stop that. I love the label. Counterspell. Fuck you, the card. All right, so we've got the removal's good. The removal is good, which makes no like. I don't understand how someone who has built a relatively responsible removal package could look at this creature package and go, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Please, God, just let me ramp. Real of you. Zombie Apocalypse. Sure. I mean, sure. So this is all... This all makes sense to me because it is get a board wipe in hand. Get a board wipe in hand. Get one of these in hand. Board wipe, next turn, swing out, kill. the deck's... I am appreciating that the deck's entire budget, I think, is in these cards, right? Like, honestly, where is this $100 coming from? I'm a little bit amazed. We have like a $6 land. Let me see this price. Oh no, it's because I'm in the cards. Okay, who cares? There just has to be something that's like $50 because all of these creatures are quite bad. This is... I mean, this may just be like... Tobias must just be the most prolific gaslighter in their friend group. The only thread I could imagine that ties this deck together is they play such amazingly shitty creatures that they try to go, no, please don't kill me. I've only played Glistener Sphere. This deck screams my deck's a 7 and I'm going to get mad when you do anything. I mean, they're not going to get mad. They're just going to be like, no. They're just going to tell you to fuck off. But this does scream to me... This deck... I just... What was the one word? The one word was guys. Why are the guys so bad? Like, you are literally playing 2/2 zombie, but in the future. That is every creature in this deck. I mean, Delver of Secrets. If you want to pretend you're playing Legacy, Fibblethip, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine a reason for this. Ingenious Prodigy is at least flood protection, but everything else screams to me, I'm going to play creatures, and I'm going to hope to draw cards. But even the draw cards thing, what the fuck is Fairy Imposter doing here? Like, there has to be... No one removes your shoe. That's the line. Is just play things that are so bad nobody would dare remove them. And honestly, I respect that hustle. I do. Like, if you... Because even though it is gaslighting, to some degree, this is an honest game plan. Like, if you sit down and you're like, oh, my deck wants to build up a board state until I can board wipe for a bunch of zombies, and you go, well, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to control your board. And then you can go, bet. Would you like to use Stroke of Midnight on Gideon's Lawkeeper? Would you perhaps like to Swords to Plowshares Inga Ruinize instead of fucking Galta Stampede Tyrant that our friend Josh played? This deck screams, you cannot hurt me in any way that matters, for I have already hurt myself. I have already removed my own toenails with pliers. Use your removal spells. See if I fucking care. Threats are for winners. The more I look at it, the more it's growing on me. Oh, and we even have some evening up the land counts. Destroy everything but 6 lands. Mr. Sunlight, you're correct that, like... So let's look at some little shitters. Mana value less than or equal to, we'll say 3. White, blue. Win, dies. Like, you are 100% correct. We could just take some really shitty things like Baskir Shieldmate Broker's Veteran wouldn't matter because the creatures you control would be all gone. Like, Chasm Skulker, right? Chasm Skulker would be just strictly better for this deck because it would get... because the floor of a 3-mana 1/1 is on par for the rest of this deck. Normally I would say you need to synergize a little bit for Chasm Skulker because you need to make sure it grows. This deck, however, we do not, because the 3-mana 1/1 is already a thing. But this thing, at least when it dies, will join the zombie apocalypse, right? Like, worst case scenario, you go off the turn after you play this thing, and it's a 2/2, and you just get one squid alongside all your zombies. But in terms of, like... But again, like, this is almost too good of a card for the con that this deck is running. Because Chasm Skulker is good. And people know Chasm Skulker is good. If you play Chasm Skulker, people are going to know they at least, like, need to watch you a little bit. If you play fucking Glistener Seer, if you play Cloudkin Seer outside of an FNM Learn How to Play Magic, nobody's looking at you. Let's see. Yeah, there's like Doom Traveler. Like, there's a bunch of low-hanging fruit of things that just have slightly better death triggers. But I do think they're going for things where it's like, this is so bad that nobody would dream of trying to interrupt my strategy because it would be so inefficient to try to interrupt my strategy. We already have Hollowed Spirit Keeper. What's Harvest Hand do? No, that won't work. Hunted Witness, another one. Honestly, the no lands does work because what the hell do you need to ramp into? Like, we don't even have... The deck just stops after 3 mana for the most part. So, like, I think this is the only deck outside of CEDH you 100% get a pass on having no lands because you're not playing things that cost money. You are playing a thrift shop deck, and that's okay. I don't think we trigger Min reliably enough. Assemble the players mall, please. Yes, assemble the players would be good here. Yeah, assemble the players, very strong. Could help with... It looks like a lot of this deck is dedicated towards I need to draw into the outs, and assemble the players can sometimes help you clean stuff up off the top of your deck. What's Oracle of Tragedy? Yeah, Oracle of Tragedy would be okay. This is terrifyingly shitty. Nobody would suspect that you were doing anything good here. You could have more things like Outlaw Medic and Palace Familiar. Like, I think, Jesus, these are all... I'm trying to worry about, like, how do we do the cuts in the world of this deck has the firm ceiling of it cannot look strong. It cannot look strong. Blardraki, there's no YouTube chat because Twitch's streaming guidelines prohibit me from displaying YouTube and Twitch chat linked on screen. So the on-screen chat is just from Twitch because I will get banned from Twitch otherwise. Inscrutable What, to sign up for this, it is via my Patreon. You can see the information on that in my stream description. It's the $25 a month tier, and it gets you one deck roast per month. It's like, how do we make this deck better? But it has to stay horrible. Vexing Sphinx would be pretty risky. I mean, honestly, with this deck, you may want to try out Vexing Sphinx. Because I feel like you have a lot of dead cards, and you might sack this before the combo happens, but it's something. Broke Teacher, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Desperate Sentry. This could also be good. This might be a little expensive for the curve. Oh shit, yeah, it doesn't get you. Never mind. Strike Vexing Sphinx from the record. I forgot it'll get you it'll be successively less and less efficient the longer you hold out. I mean, honestly, this is so rough. It's just it's occupying such a narrow strip of beach where it's allowed to exist, where if it gets any better, the prank is going to be up. And I don't know that it can get any worse. I do think something you could do is look for creatures that have fewer draw cards on death, because theoretically once the death happens, like, you're already set. You already have you're already board wiping a field in order to get your zombies out. And so you need card draw and card selection before you get to that point. So if you wanted to keep, like, really little shitters, like, Dragonborn Looter can help you get through your deck, and also is not strong at all. God, that's so expensive. I mean, either print out Field of the Dead, but I think this deck doesn't have anything against running Field of the Dead. Oh yeah, Chart a Course is good for you. Ariok Champion. No, because we're already running Lunarch Veteran. I don't think this deck cares enough about life gain. I think we would care more about things that get us to the combo. Like, if there was ever a deck that deserved some soft tutors, I would be willing to hand out some soft tutors. Rosemaster, thank you for the drink water redeem. I appreciate you looking out for my health. Oh, we do have Skull Clamp and Windfall. We have so much stuff that just screams, man oh man is my hand bad. Oh, Rick, I really feel like I'm shouting into the void. Here's their fact page for my questions or something. I'll put a more robust FAQ up on my Patreon if it is full for the month, you may not get roasted within the time frame of the month, but it will count as being redeemed for that month. To elaborate on that very twisty series of words, if you sign up on the 29th of May and you get billed in May, I might say the next time I can roast is June 3rd or whatever, but that will count as your May roast. And then if you're still subscribed for June, you would get another June roast, and you would be featured on 2 deck roasting streams for the month of June, but it would be to resolve the May billing and then the June billing. So you will get a slot. Yes, they do roll over. If for whatever reason I am unable to get your roast done after you have paid me, I'm never going to be like, ah, haha, you didn't sign up on the first week of the month, peasant. I'm going to be like, oh, thank you very much for supporting me. I'm going to get you in as soon as I can. But, you know, as soon as I can isn't always going to play nice with a calendar. Oh my god, Kuro, you're here. So we're about to move on, but I do want you to witness the Gaslighter Special. This is a deck designed around building an army of creatures to effectively sacrifice to your own board wipe. And the primary defense that this deck has to make sure this goes off is to only play creatures that are so terrible that you would never even think of board wiping them ahead of time. Because what the fuck are you going to do? You're going to use your Supreme Verdict on a Spirited Companion, Spectral Sailor, and Fairy Seer? That looks like an Azorius draft gone wrong. This list of creatures looks like you went to F&M, found everybody that went 0-3, and asked them for their chaff. After some, like, chaos draft with all of these sets. Because they are all just, like... They certainly serve a purpose. Some get lands, because we only have 29. Some draw cards. But most of it is, I'm just going to lay down so many things. You're going to use your removal? What, are you going to Assassin's Trophy the Fairy Imposter? Dipshit. No, you're not. You're going to wait. And my commander has flash, doesn't need to be present until I'm ready to board wipe you and then make a million zombies. So they can't, like, it's also difficult for them to kill Tobias because you just sit on it. And then whenever you finally have the thing to do, you just flash him in, board wipe on your next turn. And the rest of the time you're just like, fucking do some, I have a Jeskai Sage, do something. It's a little bit nice. That said, we are going to move on to Cpars, who says this deck is spooky. This deck exists because I opened a Rhystic Study and Smothering Tithe in WoW and wanted to build a deck list which incorporated them. We lose yet another soul to Staples. It wants to build a pillow fort and then wear that pillow fort into battle to crush its enemies with great brutality and prejudice. It seeks to bring death to their permanence and blight to their board state. Made the call to run green because I want to be able to dance on the manse of people and hit them with the enchantments they thought were dead. Has nothing to do with how busted green is in general. I doubt it. I want to run more lands, but I'm having trouble determining which ramp pieces I would cut for more basics. I will not cut Birth of Meletis. You cannot move me on this. We're immediately looking at Birth of Meletis and seeing how cuttable it is. 36 lands, I doubt you need more. Alright, Enchantment Voltron. This is like half fair enchantment. Fuck all this, where's Birth of Meletis? Land tax. Good creature. And I'm using good creature to be the no gender version of good boy or good girl, because most decks that seek to play Magic to a spooky or scary degree that are white should have land tax. All right, the birth of Mileta. If you don't cut this shit, if you do not cut this shit right now, you could cut this to a waste. You would cut this for a waste. And it would be better. 19 ramp. 19 ramp is a lot, but a lot of these being enchantments. Oh, not as many are enchantments as I thought. You do get to gain 2 life. My bad, goat. So my thing about Birth of Meletis is it is not only bad ramp, it does not even hang around for Tuvasa the Sunlit. Also, did I just speed past? No, where was it? Okay. So I see we pulled a Mystic Study, pulled a Smothering Tithe, and then we just fully gave in, huh? And then we just stopped fighting completely. Because Breeding Pool, sure. I hope you proxied that. Breeding Pool, farewell. Imprisoned in the Moon. Not all of these are staples, but we very clearly, we were like, wow, I got 2 cards that are going to make people mad. What if that was just all I did forever? What if that was just all I did for the rest of the game? Why Wilderness Wreck? Yeah, okay, so let's actually go through one by one now. So Tuvasa the Sunlit, Voltrons for enchantments, draws a card off the first one you cast each turn, which says to me, we obviously want to be playing enchantments, and we either want to be playing enchantments on curve, so playing a lot of very expensive ones, or we want to have a lot of counter magic. And we want to be playing one enchantment, drawing our card, and then holding up mana to respond to other people's bullshit. Finest Hour, that works for... I'm assuming this is part of the Voltron package. Yep. Okay. I will allow this because it is an enchantment. The Solved is... No, okay. For casual commander, this is fine because getting to 7 lands is happening as surely as the sun will set. This fucking art, huh? This art, you guys. Bear Umbra's very good here. Spirit Mantle's very good. Greater Ornament. Depending on how many auras you have, enchanted creatures having Shroud could be very bad. So far, we've only seen 2 that really want to be... Oh no, that's a 3rd that wants to be on your commander. Aura Shards has to be a trauma response. Like, there has to be an Urza player. There has to be another Enchantress player that we are just being a class traitor to. Because we have 16 creatures. So we don't even have a ton to... work with. Sphere of Safety... very obviously good here. Trouble in Pairs, very obviously good here. Recursion is good. Sure, yeah. Nylea Colossus, good. Draw 4 cards every turn. So we have a tutor. Draw a card. Okay. All the things that say whenever we enchant, draw a card. Which is reasonable. Way to give flying. I love the number of different category names we went for. Cheating. Although I'm not sure why Trouble in Pairs is cheating. I certainly understand why unblockable Enchantress Voltron is cheating. I certainly understand why untap everything every end step is cheating. Not sure on Trouble in Pairs, other than boy howdy is this deck a piece of shit. Oh, Cpars. Okay, you are here a little later than I expected, so you missed me talking about how you just fully gave into the hate. You got two good enchantments out of a pack, and then you just fully gave in to every bullshit card you could think of. Winds of Wrath is very smart. I'll give you credit for that. That's so funny. That is, you are going to hell. I will high five you down there. Because that is turbo bullshit. And now I understand the presence of, where was Aura Shards? This a little bit better. But holy fuck. Just take everything. The Bant Enchantress deck steals everything. Now so what I'm confused about, in the primer you mentioned wanting want to run more lands, but you want to cut ramp. I'm going to do a playtest of this because I think you are smoking crack. This deck, to me, I cannot imagine how this deck would struggle with mana, or particularly struggle with card draw, because you have like 10 to 20 sources of card draw. So what do you get? We have... Alright. Yeah, you assuredly do not need more lands. Go to our next turn. We'll say we played this. We'll go get a forest. Sure. Colors don't matter. I'm not racist. Go to our next turn. At this point, we have 4 lands. We could play Tuvasa, but do we even... We don't have an enchantment to play with her. So we probably just cultivate. And then whatever basics we find are going to come out. So forest, and I think I saw another forest. So that'll go to hand. And then we have Aura Shards. We're going to pretend that I searched for basics smartly and that I have enough mana to do this, and then we'll draw again. So that's turn 4. This is already solved. So land on top. And now we can still look at the top of it. It's a negate. Okay, so it's a counterspell. So just off of that one playtest, you certainly need some stuff. I really don't think you need more lands. I don't even think you need more ramp, period. If anything, if anything, I would say you want more ramp like Utopia Sprawl. I know that there are more expensive versions of this effect, and the bottleneck that I ran into in that playtest was I ran out of shit to play. Like, you need to some degree, with commanders that are very straightforward, you need to just grab their text box, paste it over your fucking eyelids. Right? You got to put these words into your soul. And the words that need to go in your soul is, when I play enchantments, I get card. And card draw is the craziest shit you can get in this game. And so I would like things like Birds of Paradise and Noble Hierarch are undeniably good. Where's the enchantment? But like, Abundant Growth is slightly worse Birds of Paradise, but it says draw 2. Cryptolith Rite turns all your creatures into Birds of Paradise and says draw a card and makes your commander bigger. Dawn's Reflection is better than certainly better than Tempt with Discovery, I would say. I would say better than Farseek. I would even argue that it's better than your Soul Ring. Like, I think any ramp you have that is not an enchantment is cuttable for a ramp that is an enchantment. Because you have so many things that say, when I have an enchantment, diddle somebody. And being able to repeatedly diddle people is the way you become the greatest Magic player in the world. And so I would take this whole page, like Buried in the Garden. Buried in the Garden is removal that draws you a card, makes your commander stronger, and ramps. Same goes for like Gift of Paradise. Is these all, like, the fact that all of these draw cards just make them better. In terms of the other thing I would recommend is, I would recommend at least 1 or 2 ways to play at instant speed. Because you have, wow, there's so many Vedalken. Sorry, I was not racist enough against the squid people for a moment. Because we have a way to break a way to break the turn restriction mana wise. Right now, if I see you play Wilderness Reclamation, I don't know what the fuck you're using the Wilderness Reclamation to do. Like, that is where you lied the hardest about. Has nothing to do with how busted green is in general, because without a way to play at instant speed, most of your thing, like, you got 8 instants in this deck. And so right now Wilderness Reclamation, its text box just reads, holy fuck, green can do that? If you had other ways to, like, if you had multiple other ways to dump mana, I would feel differently. But right now you have 8 instants. I do not see ways for you to dump that extra mana, and I don't see a way for you to play at instant speed, which if you were able to do, would be very, very good. Dr. Shandor, thank you for the 3 months in a row with your Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Welcome back to the dog home. Also, CODY, thank you for the Prime sub as well. Cody, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. And Wombat, thank you for the 6 months in a row. It's good to see you again as well. Leyline of Anticipation would be great. I would say you want Leyline of Anticipation. You want Vedalken Orrery. Like straight up, even Born Alchemist Refuge, just for a land. Born Upon a Wind isn't even bad in a pinch. Fuck it. Even Final Word Phantom. Like Final Word Phantom, you lay an enchantment down everybody's end step, draw a card. Very blue player, very shitty, very spooky. Very literally spooky. Oh yeah, and then All That Glitters would also be a good finisher, as Joe Salsa mentioned. You could also do Tidal Barracuda. If you wanted to be silly. If you wanted to get a little silly, you could do Tidal Barracuda and let everybody cast Flash. But you want at least 1 or 2. It's just like, it's... Tuvasa really wants you to commit mana. And having to commit mana at sorcery speed is very, very bad. But being a, like, even if you don't break, even if you never get Wilderness Reclamation, and you are not able to just fully cheat at Magic by having access to like 20 mana a turn cycle, being able to commit your mana at instant speed rather than sorcery speed for a commander that does kind of want you to tap out is very good. And what do I cut for it? You cut Soul Ring. And you cut the goddamn Birth of Meletis. You cut it right now. I don't want to hear it. All right? I don't want to hear your argument. All right, 420 Templar. I'll hear you out. Instill energy. I will no longer hear you out, 420. You can take Birth over my dead hands. Your hands will be dead because you cannot play at instant speed, Cpars. Okay? Come on, man. Matthew Strange, I just got here. Did I miss it? You are on the 24th. Ooh, okay. You're on the 24th. Anybody confused about when their deck roast is happening, you either already have an email or we will be getting an email once this stream ends. If you don't have it by like 9 p.m. tonight and you're in the patron section of my Discord, please feel free to ping me in there. Which, by the way, it's 6:18 p.m. for me right now. So if in 3 hours from now you do not have an email about when your deck roast is and you have signed up, ping me in the Discord, message me on Patreon. I'll get it sorted out. But it's decks like these. It's decks like these are the ones that hurt me so deep that I just hate enchantments all the time. Because I never bring enchantment board wipes. I never bring the tools to deal with this bullshit. And on God, as soon as you have like... Oh my God, we already have... Whenever you cast one, draw a card. We have 1 land. This is how much I believe in your land base. Boom. We fucking got there. That's what I'm talking about. And now the deck works. And then we'd play this guy. And then we'd, let's see. We have an enchantment, so I think we'd do the Surveil. We don't need that guy yet. But we will keep him on top, probably. Boom. Or actually, we'll do 2 Vasa. Hinterland Harbor. Boom, draw a card. Let's see, we have tapped. We need 3 for this bitch. So this was only worth 1, so we do 1, 2, 3. Now this is worth 2, so we tap 2 for Arcane Signet. We would hold up, negate, island. Sure, I mean Satyr Enchanter. So now we're on draw 3 for playing an enchantment. Add all white for this. Do this, draw 3 cards. Seems good. We're still holding negate on turn 6. Yeah, you definitely don't need more lands. Like, you don't need more lands. You don't need Arcane Signet. You do not need Soul Ring. You need other enchantments that add mana. But it's good. Like, it assuredly works, right? The deck does work. If you want the deck to be more reliably heinous, I would say, like, let's see, where are these? I think you could get 3 to 5 more enchantments in here, and I think you would note it would be slight, but it would be a slight but noticeable difference in how reliable the deck is, because you're going to have more ramp that is drawing you cards. Like, Cultivate doesn't need to be in here versus any of those enchantment cards, because then they replace themselves. Next, we're going to move on to Link Gamer 15. They have a silly deck that says this deck's goal is to get Heliod on the field, flipped, force everyone to draw, accrue value with discounted or free mana rocks to keep this cardboard slot machine's wheels spinning until we either land a jackpot with an X spell or whiff miserably. That is the correct spirit for a silly deck. Most spells revolve around either forcing opponent draws to get discounts rolling, wheels, cards to keep drawing, or counters. Sharknado and Chasm Skulker are pretty much the main ways of generating a defensive line. I have a gambling problem, Azorius version. Offer the table the chance to touch every card they own, experience the highs, lows, wins, and whiffs, all within this cardboard-based slot machine. I do like that idea, especially for a casual deck. Ilaren, if you can commit to being ready to start at 5 p.m., I will not do the 30 minutes of vamping that I normally do, and 5 p.m. we can be live roasting your deck by like 5:05, if that works for you. Alright. So I am not particularly familiar with this Heliod. So when he ETBs, return enchantment card, 3 mana, transform him. How do I... Oh, there. May cast spells as though they had flash. Your spells cost less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. I like... That's good group hug. And 33 lands to boot. You're making a friend out of me real fast. I do like a deck that has a legitimate plan for what the fuck is it going to do with all the resources my ops have compiled. Teferi's is good to break parity. What the hell, man? I know we're trying to... You lost me. I'll say it, you lost me. I know we're trying to build up for some gambling. But this is like the house always loses. So it's 2 mana to just spend spend turns waiting. I mean, this is some fair Richard Garfieldian magic you got going on. Oh, hold on. Oh, it doesn't remove any counters. So actually what this says to me, This is now... This is Wish.com Lotus. And if your table is not very strong, sure, you have time to do this. Most tables have time for you to be like, I'm going to dick around with my own personal stuff. The IKEA Lotus, yeah. Alright, commit and aftermath. So these are wheel people. A kidney is worth it. Whenever you cast a blue permanent, draw a card. That's fucked. Jackpot. Alright. Alright. I like your X spells. I think these are reasonably considerate outs for the table to have. Don't distract me. Good. Good. Fuck non-basics. Cpars, never play your deck against this person. Put all those enchantment ramps in. Never play them against this person. Lots of... God... I fucking hate the bald. There's Force Fruition. Induced Amnesia. Target player exiles all their hand. Draws that many. That is kind of funky. Okay. Collective card draw. Cut a deal makes sense. All of this symmetric card draw makes sense to me. It is very... Everyone should be aware. This is very bad. Typically, giving your opponents cards is a horrific thing to do. But if you are goofing around with the boys, girls, gays, and theys on a Saturday night and you want to do something silly, this is perfect. Oh, that's funny. This is like, fuck the next fuck whoever is 5 feet to my left. Temple Bell, yep. Teferi's Puzzle Box, sure. Smothering Tide, I mean, you gotta, right? Hey. Giving you all these cards, it's only right that I have infinite mana because of it. RX Briggs, can't hate the bald when the only thing keeping you from being there yourself is modern day pharmacology. What part of you thinks I am not fully ready to hate myself, Briggs? What part of you thinks I'm not ready to start every day by looking in the mirror and going, I know what I've done. I know what group I belong to. And we should be hated. Huh? You think I'm not ready? I play Magic. I play Blue. You think a little self-hate is alien to me? Fuck out of here. Anvil of Bogardon. We're going to skip our discard phases, and then during each draw phase, draw an additional card, then chooses and discards. That's good. That's funny. Walking Archive is... That's hilarious. Darth Pius, thank you for the 5 months in a row at Tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Yeah, self-loathing is a blue requirement. I'm so ready. Oh, the Watcher in the Water. You are doing the Lord's work trying to make the Watcher in the Water work. I mean, so here's the thing. Here's my thing. I do think this deck is fun. 1 weekend a month. Because what this deck does is it changes the base economy of the game. The premise of Commander, 99 card singleton, we're going to have variants. You're probably not going to see all of your deck every game, and you need a deck that can make do with that. And then this motherfucker rocks up and says, actually, we are going to see that whole deck every fucking game. And by the way, here's 50 termites that are poisonous. And that is very funny. Every once in a while. It's very funny every once in a while. I think people underrate the extent to which decks like this can force other people's deck to not work correctly or overwhelm them with analysis paralysis. Now, me personally, I will play it daily and nightly and ever so rightly because I do enjoy Mario Party. I think on average, one weekend a month is safe. Some people will get even more upset when you do something like this than when you do counter spells, which honestly, the best defense you have is to look them dead in the eye and say, I could run Dovin's Veto. You want to be mad? You want to be mad about a little prosperity? I could be on every fucking Azorius counterspell. I could be on Mana Drain. I could be on No More Lies. I could make your life hell. Let me do the goofy thing. But that being said, people like me, I love it. I want to see... if you deck me, right, you got it. If you let me draw half my deck and I don't have a way to respond to you doing Entreat the Angels for X equals 30, you fucking got it, my friend. Oh, Kuro, I'm so sorry, Goat. I flicked Twitch chat for a while. Oh, Kuro, I'm gonna ban you. But yeah, go follow Kuro on Twitch if you're based in Cool. He's very fun and we play Helldivers a lot. Or we will. I'll get you. I want to playtest this shit. I need to know how likely it is. Okay. Hey, I believe in your mana base. Let's go. IKEA Lotus. Let's fucking go. We can't do anything this turn now. I don't have any pip requirements right now. I guess we'll ramp the Myriad Landscape, though. I guess it's plains. Oh, no, it's island. Okay. So now we have a third mana. Play Rhystic Study, I fucking guess. Hold up, Path to Exile. What a big turn 4. Big turn 4. Turn 5. So now our pyramid works. And nothing else in the deck does. Okay. Okay, now we can draw cards. Oh wait, we can just tap this. Alright, I can see how that comes together. I can also see how you certainly need to mulligan to make sure that you have something to start the card draw. Square Root Jasmine, thank you very much for the 8 months in a row at Tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home, my friend. And also, RX Briggs, thank you for gifting 2 community subs. I appreciate that generosity very much. Kuro, probably yes. Depends kind of on when this stream ends. I am going to say Oh, Fractured Identity might actually be out of color. It's not. I think Fractured Identity is very silly. I think Fractured Identity onto Forced Fruition. Come on, man. Or honestly, even Howling Mine. Even if you don't put it on Forced Fruition, you have all of this permanent based. you have permanent based card draw that you can pop and then make a billion of. Cyborg, how does a god get complicated? What's the lore on that? Well, Cyborg, either you come in the sink or you sink in the cum, and he looks Catholic, so he was not about to start jacking it. And that's how it goes. I do think this deck is silly. I do think it's gambling, but it very much is the type of gambling where the house is winning, fuck you. I feel like you have single-handedly convinced more people why it's good to run counterspells, and so I respect you for that. Because I know for a goddamn fact there are some people who keep a copy of Force of Will taped to their inner thigh because they have been hit by White Sun's Twilight X equals 50. And that's the Lord's work that you're doing with this deck. That is the Lord's work that you are doing. Next, we are on to 420 Templar with a spooky deck. For Plan A, sort the deck by mana value. For Plan B, the deck wants to play a land-based control strategy using Urza's Saga to generate a board and Dark Depths to put up a major threat to try to win with. Is this a fucking modern deck? Hello? Okay, 37 lands. Nothing bad could possibly happen 3 turns from now. So we're tutoring for something. It was sort by mana value. Nuclear... My bad, goat. I did not recognize your game. I have now acquainted myself with it. And I will be calling the police. Ah, so you are exiling Worldfire with Soothsayer with Suspend. This is when you have a commander game at 6:45 and the birth of your child at 6:48. What the fuck could Glimmerlens be doing in here? Jesus! This deck is sponsored by Staples. Jeweled Lotus. Oh my god, it's $900. Bunch of dorks. Exploration seems silly. You have 37 lands. You have 37 lands and no landfall triggers. Kuro, you'll have to come back with me and we can talk more about it, but it's the thing that we already talked about. Alright. Farseek, an Archimancer. Why do you need a discount though? You're just fucking... You can't get 6 mana in Naya? That's too rich for you? Cause yeah, oh my god, Worldfire is the only thing. Me when I recreate the last days of the dinosaurs. Yeah, we've got a lot of We've got a lot of ramp that seems like weird ramp, if that makes sense. Like a lot of ramp that is not actually the most efficacious ramp we could get. Okay. Very good boy. Having all these outs for world fire. Oh my god, Ren and 6? Holy fuck. Okay, so these are a number of things to get us Urza's Saga, presumably make Karnstrucks. I 420 Templar, I'm not sure if this qualifies as spooky. I think we have to make a new category that we just call jump scare. Because this deck goes from totally normal to, oh, I counted to 6. Sudden death. Like, you should just have a big speaker that comes down and says, Phase 2. Or some shit like that anytime you play this deck. Because it's certainly... I don't know how I feel about this. I kind of feel like it's the same thing as the previous deck, where it is a very specific gimmick that fundamentally changes the way Magic is played. And what I will give you points for is, once again, you are convincing children. Every time you play this at an FNM, you are convincing children the world over that counterspells are good and necessary. And for that, I thank you. But the only meaningful way to interact with this deck is to counterspell Rocco. Or to let Rocco come in and then counterspell Soothsayer. Oh no, it just put onto the battlefield. Never mind, yeah. So you do have to counterspell Rocco. And otherwise, like, it's in a very weird spot because it's bad combo. I have a combo deck. I guess the 3 turns of Suspend. I feel like this is a deck that I would play if I wanted to gently, very, very gently retaliate against people that were dirtling too much. Oh yeah, you can counter the World Fire too, that's true. But regardless, it is a deck where the only meaningful interaction is a counterspell. And everything else is, oh look, hey, the sun's getting kind of close, ain't it? And then also Ragavan, because we're in red. Like, there's so much in here that is... Well, I guess so much in here that is difficult to parse what the goal of the deck is. Because if your primary goal is to go for this World Fire shit, then a lot of the things that support it, like, you have some interesting ramp. Like, I think Walking Atlas is really bad ramp and also really bad defense. And you would want something like Grand Abolisher to protect the combo. You would want something like Vexing Shusher. I don't know if that's creatures only. Yeah, like... This, to me, almost seems set up like... It's honestly a good... Oh, those are in? Oh, my bad, Goat. I did not recognize your... Once again, I did not recognize your game. You are so much smarter than I am. You already had it. Yeah. And then Rhythm of the Wilds is just creatures, I believe. So I'm gonna Google it to remind myself that I'm foolish. Yeah, just creatures. Oh yeah, silence would probably be a good thing. Where is it? No, it's not deafening silence. Yeah, silence wouldn't be a bad pickup to do in your own. Oh well, wait. Is that time token coming out in upkeep? Oh no, it gets played in upkeep, so they could, so it would be on the stack when you silenced. Like I think a very important part is whether you wanna just go for this, or you want this to be a persistent thing you are attempting. Like it depends on how cool you are with this not working. Oh, guttural response. Let me see if they have it already. They do not appear to have it. Yeah, guttural response would also work well. Tybalt's Trickery. Yeah, like there's a lot of... Lightning Bolt. Player removal. Lightning Bolt. Tony Morton, I'm going to assume you can. I don't know the rules all that well. Squee the Immortal. So true. It could get you... Squee would be kind of funny. Squee is your, like, I have one blocker now. Let's see. Does it need to be less than 3? No, 3 or greater. So 3 is too much. It has to be 1 or 2 to be in the deck and not fuck up the World Fire combo. Truly, the things that I understand, like, your brainworm gets hungry and you look at good cards and you're like, oh, I need those good cards, gobble, 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 and then you put Dockside Extortionist in. The things I will recommend you not keep playing are Exploration and like Walking Atlas. And even like Sand Scout I don't think is that good. I can't, in a table where this can work, period, I can't imagine that you are so hard up for mana. that you need to run something like exploration instead of just a better card. Would Dreadhorde Arcanist be good here? I doubt it. Because you would need a way... You would need Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then you would need a way to... cast... You would need a way to pump them to 9, and you would need a way to do that cheaply enough that it did not fuck up the rest of your whole deal. And at the point where you are pumping Dreadhorde Arcanist to 9 to recast Worldfire, you probably just want to like kill them with Spellslinger anyway. Wait, I'm sorry. Why do we have Stoneforge Mystic? Skull Clamp and Glimmerlens? Is that it? I need us to be more serious. Is it the Lost Jit? I also don't know what this is doing here. Moloch also seems... This one also seems strange to me. I guess you're ramping a lot, and maybe you want to have it in case you dump mana, but even then you have other things that are better as a mana dump, and like just this is $5. Strange, most of those effects that deal 1 damage on death wouldn't work too well because they're getting exiled. Like, Here are my final thoughts, 420, on this piece of work that you have presented for the class today. You found some nuclear launch codes, and you built a silly and honestly downright fair way to execute those nuclear launch codes. And then you said, well, I'm gonna need to have some stuff supporting my nuclear launch base, which I've built very well out of stainless steel. Everything is machined down to the millimeter. And then you went to Home Depot and you found the bucket of like broken balsa wood. And then you made the rest of this deck. I cannot for the life of me identify a coherence that I like from this deck in the world where this combo has failed. I do like that you picked Dark Depths and that you picked Urza's Saga to loop as ways to do it. But I think there is a tremendous amount of cleanup that you could do. There's either cleanup that you can do to make the combo even more reliable, or there's cleanup that you can do to have a tighter plan in the world where the combo fails. But right now, like, you have the big villain speech. You have the big villain speech at the crescendo, and then at like the after party, you're kind of mumbling and tripping over your words, and you're very nervous, and you've spilled a little bit of spaghetti on your chest. Like, so I would change some things. Alright, that said, we are going to move on to Broke Teacher's deck, which is spooky. The commander makes so much mana, I've cut down on the land count. My playgroup does no tutors and no fast mana, so nothing that makes more mana than it costs to play. The Italis have no synergy, but I love them. I respect it. They are my sons. What is the deck in one word? Rocks. And I'm going to walk away for a minute, and you're going to get a chair stream as I go to the bathroom. Roxanne. You get 1 point for the pun to start off with. God. Oh. I tried to jog back. And for those of you that don't know, vasectomy was Monday. Don't jog. Anyway, this deck rocks. The goal is to buff the meteorites' damage and throw as many of them as possible at my friends' heads. This, if you made this spooky, this is the type of spooky deck that I can get behind. 33 lands, you are really fucking close, but the commander makes mana. I will give you that. I love a deck that is strong, not because the underlying mechanic is just so unstoppably good. I love a deck that is strong because they took a shitty mechanic and pushed it within an inch of its life. Chris Gia, thank you for the 14 months in a row with Twitch Prime. I appreciate your Bezos bucks. Welcome back to the dog home. Yeah, I had to pull some microplastics out of my surgery site. Alright, the labels are a little fucked up, but I see under interaction we have Old Gnawbone, which does not make any fucking sense to me. This is a lot of artifact and enchantment removal. So that's a trauma response. For anybody that doesn't know, you can kind of read somebody's deck is kind of like reading tree rings. But the tree rings are mean things that their friends have done to them previously. And so the fact that most of this interaction can hit artifacts and enchantments tells me a lot about the hell that you must go through. And I think if that's not a bug, old Gnawbone is like, my interaction is I just make so much money I buy your house. Alright. Amulet of Vigor makes sense because these enter tapped. This looks relatively normal. I'm not sure why we're going with Virtue of Strength when we super do not have the lands to support. I can tap basics for triple. Where are our lands? We have 20 basics. We have 20 basics we can hit with this. Alright, we have Gold Span. That is funny. Dinosaurs on meteorites is absolutely funny. More combats is very good. Lots of card draw. That is a phenomenal Art of Toski. I respect Virtue of Courage here. I mean, Great Henge is just so fucking impossibly good that it makes sense you're including it. Panharmonicon, Parallel Lives, oh God. I feel sick to my stomach. My son twice. I'll give it to you. Okay. Win cons that aren't rocks. I do like this. Hellkite Tyrant. Very smart. Crackle with Power I do like. Yeah, all these token doublers make a lot of sense too. I do think I feel like, I mean, the deck's $900, so actually maybe we're not going to pretend that this isn't a fucked up deck. Gnawbone's fucked up. So is there a way we can clone her other than Helm of the Host? Let's look at make a copy. Calamity is only non-legendary. It's only when she attacks. I mean, Flame Shadow does it, but not super well. Yeah, Legend Rule anyway, but if we could at least get more... If we could at least get more ETBs out of this bitch, it would be a lot better. Because the problem, right, the problem I'm seeing so far is... You do have to get, like, pretty Candyland for stuff to start happening. Like, let's... I do not think that hand's capable. Well, this one we're going to try. So we'll draw, Wolf Run, draw, ba. And then we'll pretend that I can find a good... We'll just get a mountain, but we'll pretend that I could find a good land. Next turn. Sure, we'll play this bitch. Spend our turn making a manolith. We will crap out again, I guess. Spend our turn making another manolith. We'll play her. And then at that point we have 6 mana. Oh, woof. We can play one of our sons at this point. That almost works. Well, like 5 turns in. Oh, Blade of Selves. Yes, I would highly recommend Blade of Selves. Oh shit, right, we tap our artifact tokens for so much now. I mean, then it really is Devil's Play is what's bringing us home. Is Imidane only instants and sorceries? Wolfgar makes sense. We do really need these trigger doublers to make it work. I think Blade of Cells would be worth it. It would get you 2 extra Roxanne triggers a turn cycle, all things being equal. And if you had, like, Strionic Resonator out, you could copy it more. Seta, they're ETB triggers. So I'm not talking about the attack triggers. You would get ETB's triggers for the 2 entering. You wouldn't get their attack triggers, and then you would sack them to the Legend Rule, but it would be... You know, that's some pretty fucking steamy ramp you're getting. I don't think Molten Echoes is good enough because it's a 4 mana, basically a one-off, unless we have Unless we are just shitting mana so hard. I do not think Mirror Box would be great. If if the Roasty is watching this right now, continue doing your damage multiplication. Do not listen to anybody talking about Mirror Box copying. Because if you base the whole deck on Mirror Box copying, you need a lot of tutors, because then your whole deck is based off like 1 or 2 cards. O'Hara Shonell, Swift, that is a great suggestion. Let's just double how much damage they're dealing. It is like a non-bow with bigger rocks, but because you only have 5 bigger rocks in the whole deck, I would say that this is... And Displaced Dinosaurs doesn't even count, because Displaced Dinosaurs doesn't help the non-combat bit. So you only have 4 things. 3, because Mechanized Warfare is still less than Ashenil's power. So I would get Ashenil up in this bitch. First and foremost, this deck is rude, and I think the idea of beating somebody with this deck is one of the funniest things ever. I may proxy this deck just to play it against people, because the sentence, "I'm going to throw rocks at you until you die," has never gotten to be true in this game. Meteorite the card. This has been my pet card on Arena forever and ever. I will put the 5 mana Meteorite Rock. I've put this into 2 color decks. I've tried to put it into 1 color decks. Firmly, I love Meteorite. And so the idea that you beat... that you're beating people who are going like, I summon a Hydra, I summon Merit Lage. It's like, I throw a 5th brick at you. Reckless Fireweaver is in here. I do think this qualifies as spooky. I think it is almost... It's like spooky / silly. It's a very whimsical way of murdering somebody. It does require... You have a lot of very, very strong cards to support it. I do think it needs it, and I do think that this is one of the, like... like, honestly, respect that you put Doubling Season into a deck and then did not abandon the thesis of the deck to just do really good token bullshit. You have my undying respect for that, for picking all of these, like, very good cards that I have seen lead other people astray because they see it and they're like, oh, well, this synergizes so well with this other thing. And you have stayed committed to this goofy ass strategy. So I will certify this as spooky. It's definitely rocks, for sure. As far as upgrades, I would definitely suggest Ashenil. And I'm not sure that the deck needs too much else because it is so specific in its dementia. I mean, probably Torbran. Oh, red source? Never fucking mind. It's colorless. You can read better than me. We're going to move on to Cyborg's deck. which is silly and or spooky. This deck was made to embrace my love of the classic Voltron TV show. It wants to touch a whole bunch of cardboard in order to find one of two, kind of three separate win conditions. In both, we will be assembling Voltron either through Caldra pieces or Mech Titan core. For the Mech Titan game plan, we want to make a whole bunch of mini lion robots for Mech Titan and using Mirror Box and Sakashima's Will to make a whole bunch of Voltron remakes. In the case of Caldra, we want to assemble Voltron the old-fashioned way before equipping his blazing sword to lock out the table, or use Altar of the Brood and Astronauts to remove the pesky Glacial Chasm players at my LGS. This is the real shit. This is the Charlie Kelly huffing paint in the basement of the restaurant that you run with your friends. Because holy fuck, here is my 18-step TV show reference win condition. That is the true spirit of Commander. We just zoomed past Mirror Box. We're zooming past Unwinding Clock, World Slayer, Emery, to do an 18-step TV show reference win con. That's what Commander is the fuck about. You're still going to hell for World Slayer, though. Also, Bruja, thank you for the 11 months in a row, bitch. I hope you're doing well. Altar of the Brood, also respect for you having secondary outs. Oh, do you have it in Moxfield too, Cyborg? From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend. The legend of Caldra, defender of the universe. A mighty avatar loved by good, feared by evil. As Caldra's legend grew, peace settled across the galaxy. On Mirrodin, a planar alliance was formed, and together with the good planets of the multiverse, they maintained peace through the blind eternities until a new horrible menace threatened the galaxy. Caldra was needed once more. This is the story of the super force of space explorers, specially trained and sent by the Alliance to bring back Caldra, defender of the universe. Where's the book, bro? Drop the Wattpad lore on Caldra. You drop the Wattpad lore right now. This is the only deck I'll read it for. I'm telling you, I swear to God. It's the Voltron opening dialogue. Thank you. God bless. Alright, accoutrements. Idol of Oblivion. This makes sense to me. We're definitely making tokens. We're definitely artifacting. Incredibly charitable of you to describe negate as removal. Scourglass. Horrifyingly strong. I'm amazed that I haven't seen more specifically Shorikai decks run this, because this is a very good card for them. Unreasonably fair. You have so many good cards, and then an incredible 7 mana kill 2 non-creatures. Caldra's Find My Phone. I mean, yes, real. If there was ever a deck that needed the tutors, it is Caldra, Defender of the Universe. Side characters. Okay, so we're ramping. D Fogger. Lords, who the fuck is Lord's Archon? Yeah, this is definitely Urza. I love that you still framed him as a bad guy, as you were like, he is in the deck though. And then we give up on the bit. Stop taking my shit. We made it so far. We made it so far. Everything tied back to Voltron, and then please stop. Please stop removing my game plan. The deck doesn't work if you exile my sword. Alright, Thopters. Good land count. Healthy land count. Okay, so what is the... There it is. So it's Helm of Kaldra, Shield of Kaldra, Sword. So it becomes a 9/9... 9/9 thing with indestructible, first strike, trample, haste, and exile anything it deals damage to. Was that unwinding? Don't worry about it. It's fine, you guys. It's a TV reference. Do you not remember? Do you guys not remember the part in the Voltron TV show where the artifact player, where Lord Zarkon displayed an infinite artifact loop and decked everybody? Alright, don't worry about it. I think my favorite thing about this is the ultimate goal of the deck is to make something that is roughly as scary as like the average green player turn 5. That is the certainly we're right on silly and spooky that the Azorius player, this is now the most fair Azorius deck because all it wants to do in the world is make a 10/10 with keywords. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what society would look like if the goddamn green players just wanted a 10/10 with keywords? If that's what they were happy to do, if they were happy to use all their tutors and all their mana just to pull up 1/9/9 with first strike that was really good at fighting. This used to be God's way. This used to be what Magic the Gathering was about. And we could go back to it. All we have to do is counterspell Galta and Mavrin every time we see it. I once got a 2020 Mothman and I was very happy. I'm happy for you, bro. What if the Mech Titan puts on the Cauldron gear? I mean, it should, yeah. Then it's a 1919. Right? No, it's just a 1515. I mean, this is like... if you resolve this... This is the fairest 1515 that has ever been created in all of Magic. Like, this is the most... The Dark Depths players are sitting here fuming. Fuming that somebody is doing this fairly and making them look bad. I think what's funniest about this deck is it is like spooky, it's scary and then silly because every card you play up until you run out like the Mech Titan core, I am shitting my pants. Like if you go, okay, I'm going to resolve Urza, okay, I'm going to resolve Karn, okay, I'm going to tutor for an artifact, I am pissing myself. I'm pissing myself silly. And then you go, actually, I'm going to tutor for a second artifact. right? At that point, you're playing with your food. And then you're like, okay, guys, I'm halfway to a 15-15 with keywords. That's real magic, is all I'm saying. People could and should learn from this. But what do you even upgrade? Because you have all the good tutors. I mean, I think there's like... You upgrade nothing. You have white. Where's that? Oh, Stoneforge would be good if you don't have it. I think it's Ardennes? I think Ardennes would be good. To just like zoop all of this shit together. Particularly when you don't have everything else out. But you are... Ardennes does only work if you have the equipment out already, so... Maybe not. Oh, they don't have Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I would get Stoneforge Mystic. For sure that. Open the armory would be good. Relic Seeker wouldn't be bad, but we just don't have a very reliable way. Steel Shaper Apprentice, also not terrible. Anchor to Reality, also good. You have a command zone way, right? We have a command zone way to get a creature to sack to this. So I would say Anchor to Reality, highly playable. I don't think Sigarda's Aid is necessary. None of our like primary artifacts are 1 or less. Or 6 or greater. So I think neither of those actually work because we're outside the bounds. I would definitely say maybe a few more tutors. Get some tutors that are equipment specific, for the love of God. Because even these artifact specific tutors are going to have everybody shitting bricks because artifact decks are spooky. Artifact decks are very good. I don't think Bruna's good here, Chad. Yeah. Oh, no, even if she did get equipment, I wouldn't say so because we only have 4 in the deck. It is recursion, but we have other recursion. Overall, I love this. This is the exact type of energy that I play Commander to witness. And I would be honored to get World Slayered by this deck. We are now going to move on to the last deck of the night, D2 Vincent, which is spooky. One of 2 attempts I've made at something at least highish power, even though I can't afford the mana base for it. overall goal is to pull out Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal as fast as possible. What the fuck? And win with Exile Mill using the Commander. At some point I saw something about Lantern Control. Top 10 Google searches before disaster. That apparently a lot of decks that run the Dramatic Scepter combo run, so I said screw it, let's run that. There's also a combo involving Pili Pala and Grand Architect for infinite mana. So I would say that's scary. I would say when your primer opens up with I'm going to do the Isochron Scepter Dramatic Reversal Infinite, that's scary. Okay. So it's cast spells, mill. What the fuck is Baleful Strix doing here? Good land count. You should have... This is certainly high power. Put an artifact out. Notion Thief. Fucking rude card, but I love him. God, do I love him. Consuming Aberration, I think, is a little bit of a miss because you're gonna get what? A little bit of mill. Like, this guy's just here because he heard some music that he liked, but he's at a conference that isn't for him. Right, like this guy is a dentist and heard people talking about teeth and walked into the curb stomping convention. He doesn't need to be here. Oh, hold on. Whenever you cast a... Never mind, I'm smoking crack. I thought that was an ETB. This is the Curb Stomper Supreme. Keep this man in... Protect this man at all costs. Biomushi, thank you for the 6 months of Prime. Welcome back to the dog home, my friend. Necropotence? I don't know how I feel about Drowned Secrets. I mean, it is a redundancy that doesn't need the commander, so that's good. Helm of Awakening. You are blue-black. Why are you helping people? What is this charity, my friend? Like, I'm sure it does. It helps you as well. But this could help a green player. Okay. Nobody else gets to tutor. Very good. You get to tutor. So cards that matter is Isochron Scepter, Dramatic Reversal, and then 2 mana worth of rocks. Yeah. Because we dramatically reverse, untap our shit. There's also the Pili Pala Infinite. I am confused by Amulet of Vigor. We certainly don't need Baron Moore just because it has cycling. Oh my god, Dark Petition. Mystical Tutor, Daze. Dramatic Reversal. Oh, it had more tap lands at one point. Yeah, so I think I was wrong with the specific example of Consuming Aberration. I do think that this deck... Well, activated ability, let's see. What is Bright Hearth doing? Because we don't need to copy... We do not need to copy any of the things that were... Oh, Basalt. Got it. Right. Yep. Never mind. Another 2-card infinite. My bad, goats. I am, however, not convinced we need the Basalt Monolith Infinite in here because this deck is designed to only succeed by playing the Scepter Infinite. Consuming Aberration is kind of a backup, but Infinite Colorless does not really translate that well to what we're doing. Unless we have a... Do we have a filter? Also, get Commander Sphere the fuck up out of here yesterday. Let me playtest this to get a better... Something smells stinky. Okay, so Lotus Petal. I mean, more would have drawn for turn. So we have 3 mana open. I mean, we could hold mana, but we're really like we are bullshitting if we hold mana. So we'll kick that for 2. Now we have 5. So we could search for Scepter here. And then we don't have our other shit. I think this deck needs to pick whether it wants to be better or worse. The gimmick you have picked here... The gimmick you have picked is frankly very good, and not enough of your cards live up to it. I don't think Mishra's Bauble lives up to it. I think Tormod's Crypt lives up to it as a trauma response. Amulet of Vigor does not live up to it. Codex Shredder does not live up to it. I think the central thing I would like to break out of your mind is the idea that you are very likely to win piecemeal. Consuming Aberration has the best chance, but without ways to reshuffle your graveyard into your library, there's a lot of things in here that are like... Drowned Secrets will work with the loop, so that's fine. But Codex Shredder, milling people one at a time, is never going to do it. And so, primarily we would want more card draw or more tutors. Yeah, you want... Oh, you have Muddle the Mixture already. You want other good... We're just going to look at these, because these are really what this deck needs, because everything... This deck can do 2 things, or it can do 3 things. This deck can do the Isochron Scepter Infinite. This deck can attempt to cast a lot of spells with Consuming Aberration, and this deck can suck ass. And right now, those are your only 3 options. Moonsliver I don't think gets. Honestly, Wishclaw is not unplayable in this deck if you think you can just go faster than the other people. I don't think Dizzy Spell works unless you have another tutor you can ladder it into. No. Reshape would be good. Like, we need to you want to replace things like Ponder and Preordain and Sleight of Hand. Like, these are 60 card draw spells. All that matters for you is getting to the 2 cards that matter as quickly as possible. Let's see. Whir of Invention would also be playable in a deck that has this many artifacts. I do think you should cut a couple. Like, I think Lantern of Insight, Codex Shredder, that is the basis of the Lantern control deck you talked about. And if you really like that deck and you want to do it as a bit, you can keep doing it. But the higher up you go in power, the harder it becomes to do your deck as a bit. And this is very much a bit. Solve the equation is better than nothing, but you would probably be solving the equation for another one of your tutors to then get to the loop. Let's just look at the CEDH because that's what you're doing. What we're doing here is this but bad. Holy shit, am I wrong? Holy shit, you do actually do Lantern control? I think this person's smoking crack. I think this is still crazy. Mind Crank, too. Oh yeah, you do want Dimir Infiltrator. Sita called that out as well. But, like, this is... I don't think... Oh, it's another redundancy. Yeah, okay, I'm stupid. I'm very stupid. So Codex Shredder stays. Overall... This deck wants to be scary, and we cannot pretend that it's only spooky. It's scary and broke, and that is possible. We have all seen meth heads, and this deck is Dimir meth head. The things you need to do to really make it work is to just look at the CEDH lists and try to get cheap versions that get as close as possible to it. Like, even Windfall is probably playable. Like, Windfall in this deck is more playable than Preordain. Because Windfall, you might get to the combo in which you just win on the spot. Yeah, Nezahal is a very funny time. But overall, like, this is horrible. Let it be horrible. It's a peacock. You gotta let it fly. And you gotta do whatever you can to get rid of Ponder, Preordain, and Sleight of Hand. I mean, Aetherflux Reservoir is another reasonable backup. Scroll Rack I get to, like, just look through your deck a little faster. Stop helping people. It's budget, sure. But we're definitely like, you gotta reset that. You gotta turn that mindset into a grind set, because this deck is playing budget CEDH. This deck is not, oh, I'm doing a gimmick, oh, I'm doing, or even high power. You're doing like, I'm doing CEDH, but I do not own currency. And it is okay to want to do that. Although I would highly recommend proxying like your ideal list and then working backwards a little bit. Why the fuck is Waste not in this deck? Oh, Varagoth would be good for Lantern control, but commander. Yeah, that's the real assessment. Is this deck is not spooky. This deck is scary and unemployed, and that's fine. We can make it work. But you got to start taking some of these, like, I think even Baleful Strix is not quite good. Like, don't try to nickel and dime people. Try to get to your combo. Replace these things that are like nickel and diming or like decent card draw with the cheapest way to tutor the one card you actually need. Gargoyle would also be another good backup win con off of getting the Dramatic Scepter combo. But yeah, good work on cobbling together a horrible, horrible deck on a budget. But we have further to go. So with that said, that is going to be it for tonight's stream. I will be live again Friday doing more of the same, and everybody that is not currently assigned to a deck roast will be getting their deck roast assigned by tonight at 9 p.m. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to everybody that watched, followed, and subscribed. I hope you're having a good week, and remember to stay toxic.